Welcome back to the Daily Taoist with Will S. Today I will be talking about verse 11. The Tao Te Ching was written around 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and is certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless, and its message is as relevant and important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious and selfless way, and the Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves in alignment with the Tao, also known as the Way. Compliments to Rory at dailyblogspot.com. This is verse 11. 30 spokes are joined together in a wheel, but it is the center hole that allows the wheel to function. We mold clay into a pot, but it is the emptiness inside that makes the vessel useful. We fashion wood for a house, but it is the inner space that makes it livable. We work with the substantial, but the emptiness is what we use. The usefulness of what is depends on what is not. Most people relate to the world with a complete fixation upon external objects and forms. I remember one occasion when this object fixation was temporarily suspended for me. One day at art school, we were given a still life to draw, but rather than drawing the objects themselves, we were instructed to draw the space around the objects. I found it surprisingly difficult, for I was so used to focusing upon the form and ignoring the space around it. But in that moment, I suddenly saw it in an entirely different way. The human mind constantly grasps and holds on to forms, rarely able to recognize the value of space. Our minds are almost like junkies, desperate to keep thinking, keep conceptualizing, keep playing the same old stories, always seeking new input. It doesn't matter whether it takes the form of socializing, reading, watching television, or surfing the internet. Any kind of mental input will do. More. It's uninterested and quite averse to space of any kind. However, this space and emptiness, as Buddhists refer to it, is essential to our well-being and sanity. To be unable to step out of compulsive thinking is a most deleterious affliction. Yet most of us take it to be normal as we keep pumping our mind full of fresh input until not even the slightest gap in our mental stream. But as Lao-Tzu explains, without emptiness or space inside, the wheel, the clay pot, and the house would be of little use, and the same is true for us. Emptiness and space give us the gift of stillness, which enables us to come into alignment with our essential nature. As a result, we stop creating so much stress for ourselves and others, and we gradually come into flow with the Tao. Now, this is an interesting verse. I particularly like the usefulness of what is depends on what it is not. Lately, myself and my other Taoist friends, we've been doing daily disconnects, meaning we turn off our phones, we turn off our technology, we don't even listen to music, we just disconnect. We we're off the grid, the phone's off, the computers are off, there's no fresh new input, and we're just sitting there silently in our own thoughts, in our own world, and there's a certain amount of, I wouldn't call it bliss, but there's a certain amount of zen that you can get to in your life if you're just able to recognize that your mind, your spirit, and your body, they need to have a daily bandwidth disconnect. We get bombarded every day. As soon as we wake up, the first thing most people do is check their phone. Okay, there are studies showing that if you're doing that to yourself, you're just training your brain to react to things. Checking email is a distraction. Every time you get a ping on your phone, that's a distraction. If you haven't done so already, turn all the notifications off on your phone. Just turn them off. There's absolutely no reason you need to check your phone every 30 seconds, and there's absolutely no reason you need to check your phone every time it pings. You know what I mean? The phone is a tool. That's all a phone is. It's a tool. Do not be a slave to your phone. Don't allow it to hijack your dopamine systems, your pleasure center, your reward centers. And learn to function as if you didn't need a phone. You didn't need a computer. And ultimately, you will be more. There you go. It pinged right now. You know what I mean? I'm just like, don't let it do it. Perfect example. You know what I mean? Flow state. You need to learn to get into that flow state, that state of flow, and ultimately knowing that the empty space is what makes something useful, and the structure that surrounds it is just that. It's just structure. All right. Well, this has been verse 11 with Will S. Thank you very much, Rory, for your insights. We are the Daily Taoist at thedailytaoist.com. We have an Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Check us out there. Often I am posting daily verses from thedailydao.org. And yeah, have yourself a great and prosperous Monday. I love you all. Namaste.